Why is it that most people cannot overcome their own ego? It may sound distant, but the truth is, most of us are being deceived by our own ego every day without even realizing it. If you've ever felt like your life is on repeat, like a faulty rhythm of a song filled with stress and discontent, you may be trapped in the whirlpool of your ego. But don't worry. This could mean that you're closer to awakening than you think. Famous philosopher Michael A. Singer, a master of yoga and meditation, has pointed out that our suffering is an opportunity to reach enlightenment, and only through awakening can we truly break free from the mind's entanglements. Singer experienced his own awakening in 1971 while pursuing his PhD, and since then he has helped countless people escape their ego and find true freedom. In this video, we will explore the shocking truth about the ego and how to transcend it. We often ask ourselves, who am I really? This question can be tough to answer because inside each of us, there are many different voices. One voice may say, I'm too tired, I don't want to do this anymore, while another says, keep going, you can't let others down. We often feel like two little people in our heads are arguing, leaving us feeling lost. The truth is, those voices are not the real you. They are just products of your brain, and if we keep clinging to those voices, we'll live a life full of anxiety, frustration, and dissatisfaction. Our brain has a tendency to create problems from small things, and once it solves one problem, it starts looking for another. This leads to a cycle where we never feel truly content or happy. For example, when you finally buy your dream house or achieve an important goal, you might feel happy for a moment. But then your brain starts pointing out small flaws. This house is a bit too small for my needs. Or, I need more money to make repairs. This dissatisfaction repeats itself, making us chase after external things without ever feeling fulfilled. Imagine you're watching a really captivating movie. As you get absorbed in the storyline, you forget everything around you and lose awareness of yourself and your surroundings. You're completely immersed in the world of the movie, even though you know it's just fiction. Our lives are very similar. We play roles in our own lives. I'm a doctor, I'm a mother, I'm a friend. And we believe these roles define who we truly are. But the truth is, these roles and titles are just temporary masks. We are not our titles, nor are we the roles we play. This is the deception of the ego, making us forget our true essence. Michael Singer once said, we are living in a never-ending movie, and we are getting deeper into our roles every day. The only way to escape the deception of the ego is to cultivate awareness. Our awareness can easily be caught up in fleeting thoughts and emotions, making it hard for us to realize who we truly are. A simple example is when you have a headache. At that moment, all of your attention is focused on the pain, and you can't think of anything else. This is concentrated awareness. So how do we bring our awareness back to the center and avoid being swept away by negative thoughts? Michael Singer advises that we practice meditation and self-observation. In meditation, you learn to recognize that the voice in your head is not you. You are not your negative thoughts, not your physical pain, and not the social roles you play. You are the observer, the pure consciousness standing outside all that chaos. A story of awakening can clearly illustrate this journey. In his book, The Untethered Soul, Michael Singer tells the story of a woman named Sarah, who struggled for years with negative thoughts. She constantly felt she wasn't good enough, haunted by expectations from others and society. Every voice in her head pushed her to be the perfect mother, the ideal wife, and a successful professional. But after some time practicing meditation and self-observation, Sarah realized that those voices weren't her. She gradually understood that her ego had been deceiving her, causing unnecessary pressure and anxiety. As she learned to free herself from the ego, Sarah began to live a life of freedom, no longer bound by expectations and fears. Another story is about Michael Singer himself. Before his awakening, he too was caught up in the stresses of life. As an economics researcher, he always felt the need to achieve more, to succeed, and to make more money. But after his awakening in 1971, he realized that these desires were merely products of the ego. From that moment on, he embarked on a journey to help others find spiritual freedom, and his life was completely transformed. The ego is not an enemy, but if we don't understand it, we can easily be deceived and live a life filled with anxiety and suffering. When we recognize that the ego is just a small part of the mind, we can escape its control and live a life of freedom and happiness. The key to overcoming the ego is to cultivate awareness. Observe yourself and remember that you are not your thoughts, emotions, or external titles. You are an awakened being, capable of observing and choosing how to live. Start this journey by asking yourself, who am I really? And seek the answer not from outside, but from within. Remember, awakening is not something distant or unrealistic. It is the path to true freedom and happiness. One of the key reasons the ego thrives is because of the environment we live in. Society from a very young age teaches us to seek external validation. We're rewarded for achieving certain milestones, for fitting into societal roles, and for meeting expectations placed upon us by family, friends, or the workplace. This conditioning strengthens the ego's grip, making us more reliant on others' approval for our sense of worth. Think about how much of our self-esteem is tied to our accomplishments. We identify so deeply with our job titles, our financial status, or the way we are perceived in social circles. If we fail to meet these expectations, we feel unworthy, leading to a cycle of stress, anxiety, and constant comparison. But these are the traps of the ego. The constant need for validation blinds us to our true essence. In reality, seeking validation from the outside world only deepens our disconnection from the inner self. Michael Singer suggests that true freedom lies in letting go of the need to be approved by others. Instead, we must learn to trust ourselves and embrace our authentic nature, without the masks society imposes on us. One of the most powerful tools to break free from the ego's hold is the practice of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean becoming indifferent or passive, but rather, it's about releasing the attachments and expectations that keep us trapped in cycles of suffering. This practice is especially important when dealing with negative emotions like fear, anger, or resentment. For example, when someone criticizes us, the natural reaction is often to defend ourselves or retaliate. This is the ego in action, trying to protect its fragile sense of identity. But if we practice letting go, we can observe these reactions from a distance and choose not to engage with them. Over time, this practice allows us to detach from the need to control outcomes or prove ourselves, and we begin to experience life with greater peace and clarity. Michael Singer speaks about the importance of surrendering to life. Instead of constantly fighting against circumstances or trying to mold situations to fit our desires, we learn to trust the flow of life. By surrendering, we align ourselves with the natural rhythm of the universe, allowing us to experience more harmony and less resistance. While meditation is a powerful tool for cultivating awareness, mindfulness can be practiced throughout the day. Mindfulness is about being fully present in each moment, whether you're working, eating, walking, or simply sitting in silence. When you practice mindfulness, you're training your mind to stay anchored in the present, rather than being pulled into the past or the future, where the ego often thrives. A simple practice is mindful breathing. Whenever you feel overwhelmed by thoughts, emotions, or external pressures, take a few deep breaths and bring your attention to the present moment. This small act helps you center yourself and break free from the constant mental chatter that fuels the ego. Another mindfulness practice is observing your thoughts without judgment. Throughout the day, pay attention to the thoughts that arise in your mind. You may notice recurring patterns of self-doubt, fear, or anxiety. Instead of reacting to these thoughts or identifying with them, simply observe them as if you were watching clouds pass in the sky. This practice helps create distance between your true self and the mind's incessant narratives. As you continue to cultivate self-awareness, you may notice a shift in your priorities. Instead of chasing after external success or approval, you start seeking experiences that bring inner peace and fulfillment. This is a sign that you're moving beyond the ego and aligning with your true self. Building a life rooted in inner peace doesn't mean withdrawing from the world or abandoning your responsibilities. Instead, it's about changing the way you relate to life. You may still have goals and ambitions, but now they are pursued with a sense of detachment and acceptance, rather than fear or desperation. Michael Singer encourages us to embrace life fully, but without clinging to outcomes. Whether things go according to plan or take an unexpected turn, we remain grounded in our inner peace, knowing that our true essence cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that happiness lies in achieving certain milestones: wealth, status, relationships, or physical comfort. While these things can bring temporary pleasure, they are not the source of lasting happiness. The pursuit of these external goals often leaves us feeling empty, as the ego is never satisfied for long. True happiness, as taught by spiritual masters like Michael Singer, comes from within. It is found in the stillness of the mind, in the quiet realization that we are complete just as we are. This inner joy is not dependent on external conditions. It arises naturally when we stop seeking and start being. To cultivate lasting happiness, we must continually return to our center, to the part of us that is pure consciousness, untouched by the fluctuations of life. Meditation, mindfulness, and self-observation are tools that help us stay connected to this inner source of joy. Over time, we become less reactive, less attached, and more at peace with ourselves and the world around us. The journey to awakening is a lifelong process. It's not about achieving a final state of enlightenment, but rather it's about continually waking up to who you really are. Every moment offers an opportunity to observe your thoughts, release attachments, and deepen your connection to your true self. As you walk this path, remember that awakening is not a destination, but a way of being. It's a practice of living with awareness, compassion, and presence. Whether you are meditating, working, or interacting with others, every moment can be an opportunity to practice mindfulness and return to your center. The ego will continue to try to pull you into its narratives, but with practice, you will learn to see through its deceptions and stay rooted in your inner peace. As you do, you will experience greater freedom, happiness, and clarity in all areas of your life. As more individuals begin their own journey of awakening, there's also a collective shift taking place. The more we awaken to our true nature, the more we contribute to the awakening of humanity as a whole. Imagine a world where people live with awareness, where ego-driven conflicts give way to compassion and understanding. This is the vision that Michael Singer and other spiritual teachers share. A world where peace, joy, and harmony become the norm rather than the exception. By embarking on your own journey of self-discovery, you are not only transforming your life, but also contributing to the greater good. Together, we can create a world where the ego's deception no longer holds power, and where true freedom and happiness are available to all.